Let's get some final words from our guest host, Mike Novogratz of Fortress Investment Group. Off camera during that segment about art, you were talking about the art market, and you think that's a bubble. So you've called gold a previous bubble. You think art is now a bubble?
Art is 100% a bubble. I mean, it has all the markings of a bubble. I mean, the Newman painting doubled in price. You know, prices have gone parabolic. You go to any of the art shows, and you know, stuff that was even the cheap art that was $10,000 2 years ago is now $80,000, and you know, the expensive art has gotten crazy. And you know, one of the marks of a bubble, you remember the internet. You look at Pets.com, and you're like, that just can't be worth $3 billion. Or some of the the crazy internet startups that had those wild valuations. And now you can kind of think the same thing. I was like, okay, I can buy that painting or I can build a hospital.
And it's really about the supply of money, right? It's not about whether Barnett Newman is suddenly such a better artist. It's about the supply of capital. Where's the money coming from for the art market?
You know, the Fed has this policy of trickle-down. It's a trickle-down monetary policy, right? Helping the rich get richer. And the rich are getting tremendously richer because asset prices are going up around the world. What the hope there is as the wealth effect kicks in and you spend more money and it generates growth of the economy. But we haven't really seen that part in a dramatic sense yet. So the middle class is still suffering. The working class is really suffering. But the wealthy are getting real wealthy. I mean, apartments in New York are flying, and art has been really the tip of that spear.
And all the wealth from China and Russia, right?
You also have the illegal money or the dirty money, the money laundering that's coming out of vast parts of the world where people don't want an easy place to store their money, and that's what really is giving this kind of turbocharge to the art market. But all bubbles pop. And when they pop, they come down a lot further than people think. So these $90 million paintings, they might be worth 8 one day. They won't go from 90 to 70. They'll go from 90 to 8.
And you don't have any earnings. You don't have a multiple to base art on.
You've got a big negative cash flow. And so what happens in bubbles is as long as the price keeps going up, people love it. As soon as price starts going down, people start saying, oh, God, because it's negative cash flow, right? You've got to pay insurance. You've got to pay storage costs. And, some of this is bought on leverage, and so when prices start going down, they go down fast.
And there's so little transparency in the market, too. You never know who's self-dealing, who's got a lot of inventory of Barnett Newman that they just bought this and, quintupled the value of all the stuff they already have. Shouldn't this be a better regulated market?
You want to regulate everything, don't you?
No, you want to protect rich people.
You said you would short the market if you could, but you can't unless you have art to sell.
One thing you learn is you don't try to pick the tops of bubbles. That's a very dangerous game. But once it cracks, then when you see the real cracks in it, then you can sell. And I actually think when inflation comes back, when we actually have inflation, these inflation hedges like art, gold's already showed you the way, will collapse as well.
And you think the gold bubble, it's just burst?
Gold bubble's burst.
Yeah.
I mean,
despite what our prior guest said.
No, you tried everything to get it to go back higher, and it won't go higher. Therefore, it will go lower. And so I kind of think the same will happen with art at one point. Sotheby's, Christie's will be the kind of direct shorts at that point. I'm not short now. I don't think you want to try to, when things are selling for $43 million for an artist I'd never heard of. Now, that shows my knowledge of art.
No. Look, his main claim to fame is that he influenced Rothko and other famous artists. So we're digging pretty deep there.
Unfortunately, we're now, just seeing these types of price tags associated with him. But,
Right.
Well, it's great to have you. Wrestling back in the Olympics yet?
Today we're live on NBC at 3:30. We're in Grand Central Station. We've got the Iranians versus the U.S. team.
Awesome.
Then the Russians versus the U.S. team at 6 o'clock, also live on NBC.
They bring in the mud for this, or it just...
I tell you what, after Boston, we've had to have our Jell-O and our mud, scanned and radiation detected.
This is not the wrestling where they throw chairs and have the big gold belts.
No, we'll have a few of those guys in the audience just for effect. But no, this is real wrestling.
Real wrestling.
It's Olympic wrestling.
You're making a big push to keep the wrestling in the Olympics.
We are going to keep wrestling in the Olympics. We're working hard on it.
The countries wouldn't have anyone to send if there was no wrestling.
What would Bulgaria do?
Wrestling exists in 173 countries right now. There's 173 countries in our international federation.
All right. We got to go.
Pretty exciting.
Thank you.